Hello! So, I am now going to be making some eyes for our little character here. And we're going to do that first by just selecting everything. And I'm going to hit the H key, make it all invisible. Don't need any of that. And now I'm going to go Mesh, UV Sphere. And we don't need a UV Sphere this high poly, so I'm going to divide this by 2. And I'm going to divide this by 2 as well. That sounds about right. And I'm going to hit Tab. I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees to the side. I'm going to add in a loop here. Scale it down without having a proportional modifier on. Scale it down the tiniest amount just to make this sort of eye shape. Next up, I'm going to, in wireframe mode, select all of these faces, like so. Duplicate it, separate it. Next up, I'm going to select this separation, select the front part, hit O again, scroll out until I'm selecting everything but not the furthest out one. Hit the Y key to pull it out to about here. Add in an extra loop, turn off O again, scale it down, there. Pull this one in to about here. And we have our eyeball. And I'm going to join this into this one by pressing that and Control J. It is now all in one object. And if I press Alt H to bring everything back, I can then I want to keep the object's origin in the center, so I'm going to edit this in object mode, in edit mode, sorry. And I might have to adjust the eye a little in this mode. The actual eye shape, I might have to change. Modifier, mirror it over to the other side. So obviously the eyes are a bit big here. And I might have to change the actual mesh to make it fit a little nicer. Don't want it that big. There we go. So I will also want to select these ones. I'm going to turn off O, go onto the side view, pull these forward just a little, and then I'm going to adjust these ones to fit it around the eye a bit. And as I start editing this and as I go on, I'm going to want to make sure that I'm not only pulling these parts out, but I'm also going to need to create the actual eyelid area now. I don't need to worry too much about where these points are, because I am going to be going and selecting all of it, extruding, scaling in, pulling out. And then this piece is the one I'm actually going to control the shape of the eye. So I'm going to pull this one almost all the way over. And this one as well, I'm going to push almost all the way over, but not all the way. Pull those over there. All I'm doing now is I'm just creating this eye socket shape. And the eyelids should have some thickness, so I don't want to touch the eye with these bits, because there will be another layer here. I just don't want it to be so thick that it leaves a huge gap, but I also don't want that where I've got the weird inner parts. Okay. bring it in again. This time I'm going inwards. And we'll make some additional changes to the eyes as well as we go along. So if I go into this view, you can see that I actually probably want to bring the whole eye down a lot. Like so. And fix, obviously I don't want it to be too much of a mess. Bring this bit up. This side part here in. This bit up here. And it will obviously create more areas I need to fix. And that's totally fine. It looks horrifying for the time being. And now start creating this sort of brow area. And I think I want to fix some of these parts over here. There's going to be lots of editing. Obviously, we don't want the eyes to come out this much, but I also don't want them to be in. So let's go on to this side view. As you can see, we've actually got a lot of this way further forward than we want. So I'm gonna pull it back and pull this back too. And now obviously we need to close up the eye again. And this is lots of just sort of pulling things on the face around just to get the shapes that we want. And the longer you spend fixing this, the better, really. But somewhat limited time. But I'll keep going. And as always, though I don't know how people feel about me doing this bit, but I do lots of adjustments still, even when the video ends. I don't know if people actually mind me doing that or not, or if they'd rather I just sort of didn't touch it when the video's not running. But I'm a little bit of a kind of perfectionist. I kind of try to just fix everything outside of the actual stuff that I'm doing, because I don't know, I feel like I should always try to make sure it looks good, and I don't like when it doesn't. And sometimes I end a video and I'm still not happy with how it looks, and I feel like I have to sort of keep going and getting it right. Okay, so I think I'm sort of balancing it out a bit now. Ooh, almost deleted it, but and we'll make a couple of fixes here, so we can untighten that line, and put this one here as well, which we want to fix up a bit, which obviously is because it's way too low down. Same with this one. It would probably help if I turn off the subdivision modifier here, because I can obviously very easily see some issues. I'm just making small adjustments now until I feel I'm happy with it. I will turn off the subdivision and turn it on repeatedly, so I kind of get used to that one. I'm trying to also just sort of clean up the mesh a little as I go. Then we will do a big clean up eventually as well. Now we're looking for anywhere that's a lot thicker than anywhere else. I don't want anywhere like this where we've got the dip in. Well, I do want that in some places, but I don't want it here. Or these parts where it's for some reason strained, which is all because I pulled it around, obviously, but... Okay. We can, if we wanted to, we could make some fixes to this nose area, but... And there we have it. Okay, so I don't want to move that any further, so it's just a case of pulling this in and putting this out a bit. So off the subdivision modifier. And now we're just evening out some of these points. Okay. So now we have our character. We've got the little slightly puffy cheeks. With the slightly awkward smile as well, but that's only because it's on the actual character as well. Next up, I'm gonna fix any points where I feel like their head could be moved a little. And obviously this is a rough estimate of where the head is based on the hair. Putting this front bit forward a little. And I'm going to pull this front bit back a little. Just sort of evening things out around the eye area. And I think I do have a full loop around the head here, so yes, I do. That loop there sort of isolates the head off into its own sort of space. But yeah. And there we have it. We now have some eyes in our character. They look a little bit horrifying at the moment, but we will work around texturing that and sorting it out eventually. I should probably fix the bit here, which is sort of easy to fix. literally just that it comes in a bit more than it should, especially with this piece here. For that. That'll fix it almost instantly. There we go. And there we have it. Those bits fixed. And we can actually do the same bit here. So I can bring these down a little, down a little. And this comes out a bit further. Out a bit further. There we go. So I fixed all of those. I think we are about done. I can obviously shade this to move as well. I can also add a subdivision modifier to this. And that is now ready for texturing. And that's what we'll do next. No, I do have a weird bump in the forehead, the eyebrow here, so let's fix those. There we go. I see there's an issue. Just making my way around, fixing anywhere that's obvious. See, like this, so obviously that should be pretty much a steady curve around, but it's not. That creates the eyebrow line. This one here should be out a little bit further. Just because that's the end of the eyebrow line. There we go. So now you have that sort of loop that you can see here going on. It's not a literal loop, though it is kind of a literal loop. It goes sort of like that. And that's important because that one is your eyebrow, eye bone. It loops in and connects up with your the one that comes over here, the cheekbone, like so. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and now we have an eye. The next thing we'll do is we'll start rigging the character, and then we'll start texturing the character. So thank you very, very much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and hit the subscribe if you want the next episode. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful evening.